Hello. In this video, I'm going to explain the concept and impact of capacity in the management of children and families in TWeb. See also the tutorials Children and Families 2 Rate Applicability and Children and Families 3 Rates and Reductions for an in-depth look at the topic. Capacity has two components, the minimum age accepted by the provider and the room capacity available at the provider. Some providers do not accept children under a certain age, typically for safety reasons such as unfenced lodges in game reserves, open vehicle game drives and adventure activities, guest houses with unfenced water features, or unsuitable construction, and sometimes because of the value of furnishings or to preserve a tranquil atmosphere. This is a policy decision made by the provider. It does not affect the rate, but rather whether the service can be used at all. If there is a minimum age, it is displayed in the search engine under Children. For example, Addo Elephant Race Camp 4x Game Drive, minimum age 5. It is also displayed under Children in the rate section of the provided detail page. If there is a child in the project younger than the minimum age for a service, adding the service will be blocked. For example, the Addo 4x4 Game Drive. A note appears saying the passenger list does not follow the children policy of the provider, minimum age 5. The second component of capacity is the room capacity. How many adults and children can share a room? This is determined by the provider based on the room size and infrastructure available. There are endless possibilities how the room may be configured and how many adults and children can be accommodated. In general, providers only accept as many adults in a room as there are proper beds. Children can sleep on such beds as well, but for children, sleeper couches or camp beds or cots can also be used. If the room is small, there may be space only for a double bed, in which case the provider will define the room capacity as 2 adults. In the search engine and provider's details page, this is represented by the icon 2 adults. For example, Eau de Werf Hotel, superior room. A slightly bigger room might have space for an additional single sleeper couch, in which case the provider will define the room capacity as 2 adults plus 1 child, represented by the icon 2 adults, 1 child. For example, Eau de Werf Hotel Deluxe Room. In a larger room, there may be space for a double sleeper couch or 2 camp beds. The provider will define the capacity as 2 adults and 2 children, represented by the icon 2 adults, 2 children. For example, Le Franchoup Deluxe Room. The provider might also offer rooms with several beds, such as a double and a single in which 3 adults can be accommodated, and to which a camper bed for a child can be added. The capacity then becomes 3 adult and 1 child, represented by the icon 3 adults, 1 child. For example, Evergreen Lodge. Even if the providers offer room capacity for 5 or more passengers, the maximum capacity entered in the system is 4. For example, Rustays Classic Ground Floor. There are 2 main reasons why passengers might want to share a room. On the one hand, safety and convenience. Especially if the children are small, parents may prefer to have the family all together. On the other, cost. It is generally assumed that it is cheaper to share 1 room than use 2. Not all providers can accommodate both reasons. Sometimes providers offer interleading rooms which addresses the first reason but not the second. Such rooms have a connecting door between them so passengers can walk from one to the other without passing into the corridor. But the charge is for 2 rooms, even if 1 room is occupied only by children. And sometimes only suites might be big enough to accommodate the family in 1 room, and the suite might be more expensive than 2 standard rooms. For example, the Salze. How best to match client requirements with provider capacity depends on the details of the project. For an FIT family project, the choice of provider may depend on which provider can best accommodate the family. For example, for a family of 2 adults and 2 children, aged 6 and 8, in Swellendam, the best choice is Roosje van der Kaap. The family unit can accommodate the whole family, and children under 13 will be free. At Bloemestedt, in the luxury room, it would be cheaper, but the youngest child is under the minimum age of 7. If the family is part of a group, they might need to have a different room type from the remainder of the group. For example, for a family of 3 at Balmoral, the best choice would be the superior room, even if the remainder of the group stayed in standard sea-facing rooms. Or it might be necessary to manage different room configurations at different providers, for example, using varying combinations of quads, triples, twins, and singles depending on the provider capacity. At the one, quads, triple, and single; at another, triples and twins, and even quads, triples, and twins. See the tutorial on the passenger list for a detailed look at how to manage multiple rooming lists.
And that is it. Thank you for watching.